Finally, don't forget to join us on social media tomorrow for live coverage on President Biden's visit to Israel. Now, joining me with more on the potential for future Israeli-Saudi ties, Middle East expert and researcher at the Begin Sadat Center for Strategic Studies, Dr. Mordechai Кейдар. Dr. Кейдар, it's great to be back with you. Now, the United States says that this will be a process. How long of a process would you say it is? Is Riyadh really that close to changing its tune on Israel without meaningful gains between Israel and the Palestinian Authority, which was a tenet that they upheld earlier?
No. The Palestinian issue is nothing which the Saudis could take in account. They hate the Palestinians. They couldn't care less about the Palestinians. Everything which they say about the Palestinians is only a fig leaf to cover another thing. And the other thing is the Iranian issue. Why? The Saudis were hit by Iran in the mid-September of 2019, like almost 3 years, when the Iranians attacked the facilities of Aramco and I would say devastated some 50% of the Saudi capacity of oil production for like a few months. And the Saudis still remember that hit, which nobody retaliated. Trump, who was then the president, never did anything against the Iranians because of this sudden hit, which they directed to the heart of Saudi Arabia. Israel, of course, didn't do anything. Saudi Arabia is very weak compared to Iran. So only if the Saudis feel secure enough, they will go forward with Israel, because they are very much afraid of the Iranian wrath.
Okay, so what are the biggest challenges facing a possible normalization?
Biden has to convince them to go forward with normalization, and of course to increase their oil production in order to make oil lower in the United States. And Biden also has to deter the Iranians from interfering in Middle Eastern countries like they do in Iraq, in Syria, in Lebanon, in Yemen, in Gaza, and they also interfere in what happens inside the Saudi kingdom.
Is the White House capable of upholding all of those promises?
Before capable, are they willing to say something, to the Iranians, or are they willing only to get in bed with them with this renewed JCPOA? And this is a question which I have no idea, because the American administration one day talks about the impossibility to come to terms again with the Iranians, but on the other side, we stick to diplomacy. What is this stick to diplomacy if you are not ready to devastate the Iranians if they fail to comply with your demands? So here we are. The Americans, in my humble view, they have no idea what to do with Iran. And until they know what to do with Iran, Saudi Arabia will wait until they see what happens with the Iranians.
Well, let's talk now a little bit about Israel's perspective in this normalization. Because given Saudi Arabia's history and human rights record, should Israel and the United States be looking the other way to close the gaps with Saudi royalty? Or do they think that maybe such ties might reform the Saudi kingdom? Or again, is that just irrelevant given the threat from Iran?
The problems with human rights did not start with Khashoggi. It started way ago, dozens of years ago in Saudi Arabia. Did it ever bother the Americans or the British or the other Europeans? Those the heralds of human rights. When did it start? Only when Khashoggi was assassinated or whatever happened to him. So this is hypocrisy. For who knows how many dozens of years, they couldn't care less about human rights in Saudi Arabia and in Syria and Iraq and Yemen, in Libya. When did they care about these things in the Arab world? All of a sudden, they started to be, worried about human rights in Saudi Arabia.
Dr. Кейдар, thank you again so much for joining us.
You're welcome.
Hi everyone, it's Emmanuel Kadosh. I wanted to invite you all to subscribe to ILTV Plus, where you can find our daily news and updates about Israel. And not only that, but live feeds, entertainment, our kosher food show, and so much more. Needless to say, your subscription to ILTV Plus helps us grow and create more content while also supporting the state of Israel. Our app is available on all platforms and devices, so I'll see you guys there.